Hello everyone, welcome back to the Undercut podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Alpine and what is going on with that team. Jack?
Everything's going on with that team. Shocking results, shocking departures, shocking everything, shocking drivers.
Shocking drivers? Ocon had a good race.
To be fair, you can't blame you can't blame the drivers for this.
No.
You just can't. I mean, simple as that. But we'll delve into it straight away, departures. So obviously we know Bahrain, a bit shaky, weren't they? Let's be honest.
Oh, very shaky.
Turmoil within the French outfit, let's say that, shall we? There you go. That's our title. It's done.
Turmoil in the French outfit. Sounds dramatic.
Well, that's because it is dramatic with what I'm about to tell you.
Okay, lay it on me. Let's see.
Right. In the past week or two, they have lost their head of aerodynamics.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, it wasn't the best.
Yeah. No.
So,
no. Well, if this car's anything to go off of, I mean, it's definitely not the best.
But anyway, they've lost the head of the aerodynamics, their chief technical officer.
Yep.
Which these two are two very high-profile exits, like
big people in the team.
Crucial.
Yeah. For
the team. And Bob Bell. Do you know who Bob Bell is?
I've never heard of Bob Bell.
Oh my god.
Good name though.
He's the cousin of Taco Bell.
Oh my god, that was a really bad joke.
He is the long-serving advisor and former technical director at Alpine F1 team.
Yep.
He has left. He's the most recent.
When was this? Was this the last week? In the last week?
Right, hang on. I'm going on to F1 briefings. March the 6th, so yeah, in the past week.
Bloody hell. I mean, it's just mad. They've had all these exits and obviously head of aero and big people in the team. Obviously, another one that was really big. Was it a year ago now? Was it longer? Otmar Zafnauer, obviously. A big departure.
That was last year. It was last season at halfway through Belgium.
Yeah, it's like
literally.
It gave him no time whatsoever. It's ridiculous. And something is going wrong at that team where clearly the management, whoever's funding everything, someone at the top. It's kind of like, and I know I haven't used a football analogy in a while, so I'm going back. It's like the Glazers. It's like the Glazers at Man United.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously everything underneath the Glazers at Man United, like the manager. So we've had Jose Mourinho and obviously Louis van Gaal and all these different managers, Eric Ten Hag now, and different players. Obviously Ed Woodward, all these people at Man United, and then the Glazers are running it at the top, but they're the ones driving it in the ground because they don't know how to run a football club. It seems like the same thing's happening to Alpine F1 team, where whoever's at the top, putting these people in place, doesn't know how to manage them correctly, doesn't know where to put the money, and doesn't know where to develop this car in the direction they should be going. Alpine, realistically, in my opinion anyway, should be winning championships or at least competing for them. They're basically a works team. They're Renault.
The fact that they're works, they should at least be consistent podium contenders.
At least, at the very minimum. 100%.
They should be with the likes of Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari, Aston Martin.
Yeah.
They should be up there with them. But if you remember rightly, last year, it was Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds bought, I think it was like a 24% stake of Alpine.
Uh-huh.
So he is an investor into that team. So you can't all put it, like if you're using your football analogy, Sir Jim. Sir Jim's just bought the stake of Man United.
He has, Sir Jim has.
That's what Ryan Reynolds have done. Do we give Alpine time, or will they come back to the front with all these people leaving? Are they in a crisis?
Yes, and there's no. I don't see their situation getting any better. I think it gets worse before it gets better.
This season's going
personally,
to be a long season for him.
and I think next season will as well.
Yeah.
By the way that they're going, obviously, you've got to remember people, and I think 2026 will go horribly for him as well. The
Well,
new regs, I
but the
do,
way-
on one condition.
on one condition.
Obviously, next year's cars are going to be an overlap to
Yeah.
this year's cars. Obviously, they're going to be an evolution. Nothing's really going to change. I expect Red Bull to be the quickest. I expect
Yeah.
Alpine still to be the slowest. But the thing
Yeah.
is that obviously maybe even last year, I reckon teams have probably started working on the 2026 cars because they need
Oh,
to be
100%. Teams will
And-
be on that 100%.
exactly. And we obviously hopefully there'll be some kind of shake up in the field. Who knows? We could see Audi at the front. You don't know. You don't know. We could. It's happened.
could.
It's happened plenty of times. Mercedes, Brawn, obviously recent examples.
Yeah.
So, but the thing with Alpine is that if all these higher ups are leaving, so head of aero, chief technical officers,
directors,
whoever these people are, obviously
Bob Bell.
people, Bob Bell, exactly. These people are going to be working on the 2026 car now. They're going to have been developing this car.
Yeah.
If they've left, who's working on that project? What? Who's there
Beats
doing
me.
it?
Beats me. Jeremy Clarkson at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Clarkson might as well go in there and we've got a job for you, Jeremy. But yeah,
Yeah.
crisis. Do you think this does affect them for 2026? Maybe I'm reaching, but
I think any year of a bad year where you lose top people in your team is going to affect you for the future. Like we saw, was it 2020, 2021 set Red Bull up for the dominance that we now know today.
yeah,
So you got to look at it like the issues with teams are going to be having. Yeah, you can turn it around with new regs, but you got to remember these new regs are mainly engine. Like it's the new engine regulations.
that is true. Because it is mainly engine. It will be. Well, I mean, obviously aero might not come
Yeah.
into it, but you've got to think though. There is a lot of aero performance to be found in engine covers and the way that engine covers are designed. So even though it's not your front wing, your rear wing, it's still incorporating a lot of the side pod, which and the floor as well, which a lot of performance can be found within that.
Oh god.
So I think it's still a massive loss.
They're in a bad patch, and I don't see that patch ever leaving anytime soon.
Yeah.
And it could be it's going to be a long year. It's going to be a long next year. They've just got to hope that they can sort something for 2026.
Yeah. Here's my question then. So my big takeaway from this is what happens to Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon? Obviously, I'd say two of the best drivers on the grid. I think experience, talented. I think Pierre Gasly, I think in the right car has got a fair few wins in him, maybe even a championship.
Gotcha.
Esteban Ocon obviously was touted as one of the best drivers back when he first came on the grid. He's still pretty talented now. He beat Max Verstappen in junior formulas, so it's not like he's a bad driver by any means. What happens to them?
It's difficult, isn't it? Like obviously Alpine, French team, Gasly, Ocon, French drivers. You've got the romance there. That's what they were going for last year. I see Gasly getting fed up at Alpine if they continue like this. But where does he go?
This is the thing. Where is there a seat?
Now, would you argue that, I don't know, maybe, like, hear me out. Lewis has gone to Ferrari. Max goes to Mercedes. Alonso goes to Red Bull. Gasly goes to Aston Martin.
There is a chance, but we got to remember as well that there's a good chance that Yuki Tsunoda goes to Aston Martin when Honda come in.
Yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? Obviously, Honda coming in, Japanese tie, Yuki, it works out done it.
They'll want a Japanese driver probably. It's the same way that Alpine had the 2 French drivers. Obviously, I think Aston Martin would be keen in having Yuki represent the team.
I don't see. Maybe, but I don't fully see Gasly going back to AlphaTauri, RB, VCarb, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
I can't see him going back into that Red Bull family. So it's for me, for Gasly, it's either Alpine or Aston Martin. You could say if Albon moves up teams, could he go to Williams?
It's really sad, isn't it? Because it's almost like there's no spot for him.
Yeah, and he deserves a spot. You got to remember, he's a race winner.
Yeah, and this is. I think this leads us back to a bigger question in Formula One: is there not enough teams on the grid? We know Oliver Behrman, and we're getting to a different topic here, but Oliver Behrman, Liam Lawson, talented drivers that haven't had seats.
On the grid, yeah.
But could he snag a Mercedes seat?
No.
You don't think so?
I think Mercedes have their eyes set on 3. Verstappen, Alonso, Antonelli. That's it.
What about? Is there a chance for Audi?
There's a chance. I wouldn't be mad, at a Gasly Sainz pairing at Audi.
Well, they're looking at Hulkenberg, aren't they, at the moment? By the looks of things.
They are looking at Hulkenberg. I mean, what was interesting is I saw earlier this week. Still off topic here, but oh well. Haas, obviously, they're really now looking at Behrman coming in for next year. It's pretty much 80%, 90% there.
It's almost nailed on.
Yeah, after that. And what I found interesting, for Hulkenberg.
Yeah, because they're certain Hulkenberg's going to Audi.
Pretty much, yeah, which tells me Magnussen has to perform, or they're looking for a second driver. We could see a whole new Haas lineup next year.
Yeah, and obviously getting off topic, but it all does come back to the fact that I think those drivers at Alpine are gonna want out. I think they will. This is the issue. I think both Gasly and Ocon, if they were in a top team, they'd be winning races. They are that caliber of driver. Like they are stuck in a bottom team. It's like how, for example, when back in 2009 we found that McLaren and Ferrari were at the back of the grid, and it was all of a sudden you had Lewis Hamilton, you had Kimi Räikkönen and Felipe Massa in cars that were finishing in the bottom 5, and it was like, oh my god. These drivers, if this stays, aren't going to want to stay here. But luckily, their performance improved, and it's kind of the same situation. Not quite, because they weren't winning championships, but Alpine have 2 drivers that, they should be up there at the top of the field. It's not a good situation that they find themselves in.
It's really not good, and I can only see it continuing like that. I don't know when. It's going to have to be a mega lap for either of them to get out of Q1 this year.
Oh yeah, I thought Ocon did really well in the race at Saudi. I thought he had a great race.
I think he did quite good.
Obviously, very much was helped on by Magnussen's 20-second time penalty and absolute madness with him holding up everyone.
Yeah, it was mad. To be fair.
Oh, good God.
We love K-Mag. Yeah. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. You've lost me, man.
Sorry, I broke your train of thought.
You have. When I start thinking, I need to think. Man, you broke me. You've actually broke me. Connors, you got to think of something else while I'm thinking now.
No, I don't know. I've said everything I need to say. I think it's Alpine are fucked. That's it. Alpine are fucked, man.
There's your title.
Well, not quite.
Alpine are effed.
Yeah, they are.
They actually are. Like, the pain. That's what I was saying. Last year.
Yeah.
Go back to Alpine last year. They didn't have a bad car last year.
No, they didn't. They did a pretty good car last year. It was all right.
You got to remember, both drivers got on the podium last year.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
both drivers. Obviously, Ocon. Where did he get his? He got his P3 at Monaco.
Yep.
Gasly got his P3 at the Netherlands.
It's one of that car last year is where Aston Martin are this year, by the looks of things.
Well, a little bit further now. Aston Martin's qualifying pace is probably second at best.
The qualifying pace of the Aston Martin is very good, but it's like they were the team that fought no one. They were too slow for McLaren and Merc and Ferrari. Obviously, Red Bull, Aston Martin were in there last year, and but they're too quick for Haas and Sauber and Williams. They were too quick for them. They were just there. So they were like, points, points a few races here, points a few races there, maybe a podium or two if the big teams have a stinker.
Yeah.
If Perez has a stinker, now, how do you drop off that badly?
By losing all your top people. Clearly.
2025 is going to stink the gaff out for Alpine.
2025, we're just going to see an all-black Alpine.
Yeah. Now we know why they rolled out the black Alpine.
Yeah, it's just going to be full black.
Yep.
That's it now. Done. Finito.
Jesus Christ. Right, anyway, I think that's pretty much it, though, for our Alpine talk, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just I don't know, it was a deep dive into misery, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how they perform at the Australian Grand Prix. I mean,
I can tell now.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm rooting for. I like Gasly.
I love Gasly. Yeah.
So I root for Gasly. Ocon I'm partial to, but I rate Gasly. I really like Gasly.
No, I'm not asked about Ocon, but Gasly.
Thank you very much for watching. Obviously, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video. Podcast coming this Sunday. Don't miss it, and we'll see you all next time. Monday. Sorry, not Sunday. We changed the days. Monday.